It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
Trades don't happen at the smallest level without stuff getting out. And Rob and I were able to have really intense conversations over the course of 3 or 4 weeks that started out as a coffee that, was more, hey, would you ever? I don't know. Would I? Let me think of, and then it built upon that. And, we kept it between us. We had to keep it tight. J. Kidd didn't know about it, but J. Kidd and I are aligned, and we talk about archetypes, and we talk about the culture that we want to create. So I know the type of players that he likes without actually talking to him. Hey, would you like, so I know that. And J. Kidd coached them when they won a championship. So I think when you're aligned with your coach like that, I know the type of players that he likes. And so I felt good about it making sense to where we're trying to go.
That's Dallas Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison on how the Luka Doncic trade came to be. Just a typical late-night Saturday deal in the NBA, PK.
Yeah, I thought about a lot of people were saying, I can confirm this and that. I was going to tweet out, I can confirm nothing, and it's getting late, and I'm going to bed.
And in the East Coast, people had already gone to bed. The story is about people waking up to what?
There are multiple sports media people I saw this Sunday morning like, hold on, what happened overnight?
What happened while I was sleeping?
Go to bed. It could have waited.
Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, their 2029 first-round draft pick. The Jazz and the third team in the deal to make the money work, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and 2025 second-round picks from both LA and Dallas in the deal. Well, the Jazz sent out $55,000 to each team in the deal. Make the money work. There you go.
Wish they'd send $55,000 to me. The Lakers won the deal. It's simple as that.
Luka Doncic, they have a star going forward. The Jazz have the Lakers 2027 unprotected first-round pick, but you got to assume a team with Luka Doncic on it, you're going to be drafting in the back half of the first round.
I don't think you assume anything.
Well, he could get hurt. He could not re-sign. There's stuff that could happen.
Right. So why? So what? I mean, the pick is the pick. It doesn't change the charge to make the team better. There's no excuses here. If it's a great pick, then draft a great player. I mean, they just released Mo Bamba, and wasn't he like the 6th pick?
Yep.
And so, that's all well and good to have all these picks, but if you don't draft players who can play, who cares? And this Schifino dude was a 17th, I think, however you say his name. I'm not going to learn his name because he ain't going to be here that long. And so you still got to get good players. People debating whether it's a good pick or not, or a good trade or not. To me, I ask myself, who do you want to have the ball when the game's on the line?
Luka Doncic.
So it's like the newer generation wants to pick LeBron, and the older generation wants to pick Jordan. Who do you want to have the ball between those two when the game is on the line?
Jordan.
Right, and we used to have fun 20 years ago with Magic and Stockton. Who do you want to have the ball when the game's on the line?
Magic.
That tells you who the better player is.
And we're done.
It's a real simple conversation.
Sacramento Kings traded De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, with the deal including the Bulls, who are sending Zach LaVine to Sacramento. Other players on the move, Kevin Huerter trades Jones, Zach Collins to Chicago, on and on it goes. Sacramento's also getting 3 future first-round picks in the deal and 3 second-round picks. Chicago gets a first-rounder. De'Aaron Fox gets to go to San Antonio and play with Wemby, which is apparently what he wanted, so NBA players getting what they want in deals again.
That seems like rearranging the deck chairs to me.
De'Aaron Fox isn't going to have that much of an impact with Wemby.
What has he done in Sacramento?
Got him to 3rd place 1 year.
No,
but is that a case
care
of
about the regular season? That's a waste of my time. The NBA doesn't care about the regular season.
Is that a fact? Is that a case of a guy, kind of the Hornacek thing? You can't do it by yourself over here, but when you're paired with this person over here, you could have something.
Well, I think Sacramento has more talent than San Antonio. Now, that's today.
Right.
I don't know how it's going to be in 3 or 4 years. I'm talking about immediately. I don't think that this is going to be a groundbreaking deal in the immediacy. If they still have a lot of work to do. And he's a nice player, though.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Fast break, Isaiah on the push, leaves it behind. John Collins rising high, the Duncan Deacon puts down 2. Retreats out, shot clock's about to go off. He gives to John Collins, and Collins hits the 3. 19 for John Collins tonight, 8 of 9 from the field. Clarkson, one-hand pass over the top to Collier. Left-hand drive, pulls for a midi, pin it. That's the shot that he's added, Ron, in the last few weeks. He's figured out how to get that one off. Left side drive, Keontae to the rack, clear road to go. Lays it up and in.
The Jazz snapped the season worst, longest 8-game losing streak. They beat Orlando 113-99. Colin Sexton with 22, John Collins with 19. The Magic have now lost 8 of 9. The Jazz get a rare win, number 11 on the year. They're back in action tonight against the Pacers. Was that a one-off, or are you a little worried? Or, hey, they had to win 1 out of 9.
I mean, I'm worried all season. It's not one game I'm worried about. It's the whole season that they don't blow it and don't get a top 3 draft pick. I mean, I'm not caught up in any individual game.
They were in control of that one most of the way there. Tonight, Pacers, 7 o'clock tip. Jake Scott, Tim Lacombe will be on the air at 6 o'clock here on The Zone. The Jazz had another trade Saturday with them acquiring P.J. Tucker, Mo Bamba, and a second-round pick in exchange for Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills. Jazz have already waived Mo Bamba, as PK said, so they clicked another second-round pick. What are they doing with these second-round picks? We'll get to that.
I thought Mills was
up.
a sage veteran who just taught the youngsters so much, and his value was invaluable. Blah, 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 blah.
That was cool, but there's a second-round draft pick over here, so we'll take that. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
We got to get better, and our good players got to play better. They got to step up. Just an awful offensive performance. I don't really know what to say. It's hard to watch. I teased with Patino. I might have to check some guys for contacts or something, because I don't think they saw the basket tonight, because they usually shoot the ball pretty well. So it was just one of them awful shooting nights.
That's Jared Calhoun, Utah State basketball coach, on the loss at home. A rare loss in the spectrum for the Aggies. New Mexico blows it open in the second half and wins 82-63. Utah State had a 9-point lead. There was 15 minutes to go. They got a bucket. The place was rocking, and little did we know, PK, nothing was going to go in for a while, and New Mexico was going to go on a big run.
Well, I think Coach Calhoun is spot on there. It is one of those nights. And it happens. You see it at every level, literally every level. There's times when things don't go your way, and then the other team seizes it, feels it, and they go. It's like a team that scores 7 runs, 8 runs in one inning in baseball. All of a sudden, everybody who gets a bat in their hand gets a base hit. And you can't really explain it, but it's not anything that is just catastrophic from that perspective. If it's in the NCAA tournament, obviously it is, and your season is over. But that's not where we're at here. We still have 5 weeks to go, and they've got a big one in 13 days down in the pit. We'll see what happens there. There's so much for this team to accomplish that there's really no point in obsessing over this loss. And good on New Mexico. They got it going, and that wave, you can see it. We've seen it a million times. The wave is coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you just press even more. Meanwhile, the other guys are free, loose, happy, smiling, dancing, and they got it going on. So you just go, way to go, Lobos, and we'll get you next time. See what happens.
We assume next time that Ian Martinez and Mason Falslev, the two go-to guys, won't go 0 for 10 from 3 next time.
It was a big surprise for sure, but these are things that happen in sports, particularly in this game with the shooting.
BYU got a win on the road. They beat UCF 81-75. They improved to 15-6 overall, 6-4 in conference. The game was tied 5 times in the last 10 minutes, back and forth, trading hoops till they finally got the stop and got the win.
Yeah, this is good. Now they've had 2 real close wins that build confidence. Nothing they did in the non-conference built any form of confidence because You were playing teams, all the games you won, you should have won, and a couple that you lost, probably, maybe you shouldn't have lost, but you weren't good enough to win those games, obviously. And here now you got some confidence. You're going to need it. Arizona's playing well. You got them coming in 9 o'clock on Tuesday. It's a little late, but this is a great opportunity to put yourselves, forget about being on the bubble, put yourselves firmly in the field. You still have work to do, but they've got it going on. They've turned the corner, and I think that as I look at it, it doesn't surprise me all that's happened to this point. New team, new coach. They needed time. Now they've had a little time, and we've seen the improvement.
Can they keep it rolling? Arizona, that'd be a huge win if they get it. But UCF on the road, that's a quality W for them right there. Utes lose at Oklahoma State 81-72. They got down early and never really recovered. Never were able to tie the game up after that 9-1 start for Oklahoma State.
I think for the Utes, they need to do what they did last year and pretend that they made improvement by padding their win total in the NIT. And that's what they did. And then, the announcers, TV people like to compliment. They don't really like to be negative like newspaper people thrive on. And so you'll hear, oh, he's made progress each of the 3 years. Yeah, I mean, last year they gifted him some NIT wins, so it looks way better. And then what progress did you make when 2 or 3 of your best players leave anyway?
Not going to feel like progress this year. 12-9, and there's still a lot of tough games out there. And 4-6 now in conference. UVU's 10-game win streak is over. Grand Canyon dominating that game. The place was packed. They got off to a great start. They kept it going. They win 75-57. That was pretty much a no-doubter for Grand Canyon.
I was decked in my purple all day.
Both teams now 7-1 in the WAC. And they both won at home, and we can look forward to the potential third meeting in the WAC tournament.
I would like to see that for sure. Yeah. Obviously on a neutral floor at that point, right? Is it still in Vegas?
Yep.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
No, this is good practice for me in the Olympics. Most likely I'll be retired by 2028. How many years is that? 3 years? I don't know. But if I am retired, I would definitely like to play in the Olympics.
Are you serious?
I would, yeah.
Tampa Bay wide receiver Mike Evans talking about pursuing flag football in the Olympics during the Pro Bowl. Be retired in 3 years, go play flag football, get a gold medal, show the world what the NFL is like. Raiders are hiring Ohio State offensive coordinator Chip Kelly. He'll join Pete Carroll's staff. Kelly was with Ohio State for 1 season after leaving UCLA. He'll make reported $6 million coaching the offense for the Raiders next year.
That's a great hire, man.
Big money in the OC game.
Yeah, and Chip Kelly doesn't like the interviews. He's historically been a wet noodle on that. You know, he whined the 1 year when he first got there in Westwood about why does the Pac-12 have to be 2 days, and all he had to do was drive. Everybody else had to sleep in a hotel and fly. Yeah. And he had to drive up the freeway a little bit in the Hollywood area, and he whined about it the whole time. And then they changed it to 1 day, which he was probably right, but he's not a warm, fuzzy, interacting kind of guy. But he knows his stuff.
Well, he can be on the Raiders staff, and Pete Carroll excels and embraces at all that stuff, and he can go be mad scientist in the film room and drop plays.
He's making $6 million. I mean, I assume he wasn't making that at Ohio.
The story I said
they made a big deal about the coordinator getting $3 million to go to Penn State, and that was like the highest ever.
Right, that was the highest.
This is going to be the biggest offensive coordinator salary in the NFL.
So I mean, it's a no-brainer. If I'm both by both men.
Now they got to get a quarterback. Next up. UCLA offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy headed back to the NFL. He'll be the running backs coach for the Chicago Bears.
And I thought he was the reason the Chiefs were so good, is what I was told by certain people pushing an agenda.
Might have something to do with the quarterback and head coach. 3 more massage therapists came forward with allegations of sexually inappropriate behavior. Talking about Baltimore Ravens kicker Justin Tucker. The latest 3 were all working in the same downtown Baltimore spa, but the owner of the spa told the Baltimore Banner that he was unaware of any complaints.
Is this the ultimate in what we call misogyny?
I see what you did there. That's good. No, I wouldn't think it would be the ultimate.
No?
No, because he's at 9 complaints. I'm just going to go straight numerical, stick with what I do, numbers. Deshaun Watson He was in the 20s.
So if I drowned in 1 foot of water or 10 foot of water, what's the difference?
It wouldn't be the ultimate. You'd still be drowning, but it wouldn't be the ultimate.
Oh, I don't
He's
know.
still
The
in
result
trouble.
is the same, yeah. And this guy, I have no idea what happened and let it play out.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Nebraska likely to forego the annual spring game due to concerns from Coach Matt Rule about other teams poaching his players. He said, quote, "The word tampering doesn't exist anymore. It's just an absolute free, open, common market. I don't necessarily want to open up to the outside world and have people watch our guys and say, he looks like a pretty good player. Let's go get him." Nebraska spring game, well attended. They drew 60,000 fans last year, 4th most in the country. So they're going to look at some other kind of event for the fall sports.
Well, I would hold practice at 2 a.m. and have it only lit by candles because people can see your...
You don't want a drone flying over the practice field?
Yeah, you got to have it indoors. This is taking it to extremes, but it's just the spring game. It's meaningless anyway. I once had a coach tell me here locally, "You coming to the spring game?" I said, "No, I'll be in St. George." He said, "Good. If I could go, I would too." He literally told me that.
Alabama's hiring Ryan Grubb as their offensive coordinator. He was briefly on Kalen DeBoer's staff in Tuscaloosa before joining the Seahawks as their offensive coordinator this past season. But now he's going to Bama. And Arch Manning is open as the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. Texas Longhorns quarterback. DJ and PK.
Hashtag golf.
Rory McIlroy wins at Pebble Beach, 21 under, beating Shane Lowry by 2 strokes. Tony Finau tied for 13th at 12 under after teaming with Ryan Smith to shoot 19 under in the Pro-Am format.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge news for the tour to have Rory McIlroy. He's the biggest star on the tour.
That was Irish weather there. He had to be comfortable.
Yesterday wasn't too bad.
He got it rolling on Saturday, went 65. That was not glorious golf weather Saturday.
No.
But he excelled in it.
Yesterday was fine, good enough. I mean, it's that time of year. You're not going to get balmy. If they wanted that, they'd play it in the fall. But the way I figure he's the biggest star on the tour, so to have him win is great for golf, which has been, sagging a little bit here. I don't necessarily think he's the best player, but I think he's the best. He's the biggest star.
He's the biggest star.
I think Scheffler's the best player. Tiger's the biggest name.
Right.
But the biggest star in the game is Rory McIlroy.
Scheffler, that's great, but let's get a little Roy's star power in there.
Yeah.
He's won multiple majors.
And he's
He get in front of a camera and a microphone and hold court.
And he's willing to do it.
He is.
Yeah.
So get him a W. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Not today. I didn't like our energy. I didn't like our urgency in that game. I think credit to St. Louis. They play much better than the last 2 times we played them. They play way more stingy, and took way too long for us to accept that and go to work and put puck behind and build speed and do those kind of things. I think we didn't generate enough speed for too long in that game.
Here's head coach Andre Tourney as the Utah Hockey Club loses again. They lost to Columbus 3-2 Friday night, blew a 2-goal lead and lost in overtime. And now Sunday they fall to the Blues 2-1. A bad weekend, a bad homestand. It's not going well. That's 2 points in 3 games. They wrap up a 4-game homestand tomorrow night against the Flyers.
They're young and they're improving. The potential is there.
Let's hold that back on one of those words.
But they're hurt again.
I know. But the whole improving thing.
Well, no, individually they're improving.
Okay. But are they going to improve on last year's point total?
What difference does it make?
Well, if you want to say you're improving, it would be good if you were actually improving.
So the only way they're improving is to be better than last year?
Well, that is how we measure it. More wins, more points.
That's how you measure it, I guess. I think there's other ways. Did the individuals improve? Are they prepared to make a jump? Do they know more of what they need now? Ultimately, the record just stands what it is and determines whether you get into the postseason, and it doesn't look like they're going to get there. But I'm not down on them any more than I was 2 weeks ago.
What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up this morning, Steve Cleveland's going to join us at 8 o'clock. We'll talk about BYU's big win on the road at UCF. Scotty G, voice of the Aggies, here at 9 o'clock to analyze the race that is the Mountain West. And if the Aggies had won, they'd be 2 games clear. But now, got 3 teams separated by 1 game headed down the stretch. And Brian Geltzeiler at 9:30 on the Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, the Mavericks, and the Lakers deal. He'll join us at 9:30. DJ and PK, the Jazz acquiring more draft picks. Where is this headed? We will get to that next. The question of the day. DJ and PK, stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present...
This is JJ and Alex.
ESPN has a how this is going to play out all the way up until the college football playoff of 2025. This is your ultimate way too early. Your number 3 seed in the college football playoff for next year is the University of Utah.
What?
Hey now.
No.
Yeah, why not?
The Utes?
New offensive coordinator, new quarterback, new you. Literally, new you. The crazy thing about this is that I have no argument against it. Why would you make an argument that Utah couldn't be in that conversation? And I know BYU fans out there are pshawing, but you were in the same spot last year.
The Utah offense scores as many touchdowns as New Mexico did last year. How much different would their season have looked? They have a lot of recent success when they play complementary football. When that offense is up to the task, combined with that defense, they win a lot. I could see it happening.
Stop. I don't want to get your hopes and dreams up.
I'm making a case.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 6. Presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Many shelters are at max capacity right now. Join Hans and Scotty G at the Humane Society of Utah with Best Friends Animal Rescue at 4242 South, 300 West in Murray. Wednesday from noon to 3 and help more animals find homes. Multiple NBA trades over the weekend. The Jazz in the middle of a couple of them. Jalen Hood-Schifino and a 2025 second-round pick. Actually, 2 of them from the Clippers and Mavs, part of the mega trade between the Mavs and Lakers. And earlier, they picked one up from the Clippers in the Patty Mills, Drew Eubanks move. So, what are the Jazz doing here?
Hopefully they're trying to lose. I mean, they gave up nothing. Those players, they may be great people. I'm sure they are, and good on them. They've got what matters. They have what matters the most, but they had no effect on winning.
Allen says time will tell. Maybe. And Brian wonders why the Jazz are constantly helping the Lakers. Why help the Lakers get that deal done?
It was going to get done whether the Jazz did it or not. It's not like the Jazz allowed the move to be made, and without them, the move wouldn't have been made. That's not true at all. You might as well benefit yourselves if they think that what they did is benefiting themselves. That's something that remains to be seen, but the move would have been made.
Mark says, I hope this isn't their idea of big game hunting.
It's not.
It is not.
Obviously,
they're second-round picks. Kevin believes they are non-consequential moves. Just kind of shrugs and moves on.
On their own, in and of themselves, they have no meaning. But it's then what do you do upon that? And this is a big week because the trade deadline is Thursday now. So we're 3 days away. And do these moves lead to something else? They've got to be really careful here because what do they do in terms of big game hunting or bigger game? This is small game. This is no game hunting. This is me on my high school baseball team. I had no game. This is no game hunting. None of these moves matter. Eubanks, great. Hardy loved him in San Antonio, and he loved Mills in San Antonio, and then they're gone before we even get to 50 games. And I never bought that, we had Yoda coming in here, and Patty Mills was just going to teach all these youngsters how to play the game and live their lives and blah, blah, blah. That's just overstated because you got to get up there and say something. And so that's the obvious thing to say. If he was 25, they wouldn't say it. But since he's, 35, 36, whatever he is, he's sage and he can teach these youngsters how to tie their shoes and do all these things. And you can't talk to me about winning because you're not ready to win that yet. So you got to say this. But, if it was so just important to have his locker room presence, they wouldn't have dumped him off for some second-round picks. And Eubanks is another in a long line of who gives a crap big men. I mean, you gotta have real talk here. You don't like it, change the station. But this is what it's about here. But you'd have to assume that there's something else. But they got to be careful because they don't want to blow what they got going to potentially get a young potential star who's going to take time. I would say if you're doing anything here in the next couple of days, get rid of Collins, get rid of Clarkson. Those would be my guys. Or hold up somebody for ransom if they really want Kessler. As I said to Locke 2 weeks ago, yeah, if you're trading Kessler, the kitchen sink better be included.
Fact. Totally agree with that. And I think if Kessler is traded, the kitchen sink will be included, but I'd be very, very surprised if he was traded. I get that there's talk about it, that other people want him, and they're going to leak stories and all that. But, man, Ainge doesn't give stuff away for 60 cents on the dollar. His reputation is be careful, he's likely to pick your pocket.
Well, he hasn't picked anybody's pocket yet.
Not here, no. That's more the...
I don't want to live in the past.
I know, but that's what reputations are built on, the past.
Well, but there's the recent past and there's 100 years ago. And so
you don't think he's going to give Kessler away for 60 cents on the dollar?
I don't think anybody is. I don't think he's that special, and he's got a lock on making brilliant trades. I mean, he's good, and I trust him, but no one is going to do that. Here you go, and we'll get ripped off. That's great. Everybody on board? I. No, it's no different here. We build our people up to be so special, and really, are they any different than anybody else?
No.
And so, yeah, he's not going to do that. Neither is anybody from that perspective.
Well, Jeff thinks that Rob finally made a good deal. The Lakers robbed the Mavs, and the Jazz are stacking up picks for the future.
I say at this point, when you've got just a little over 32 games to go, something like that, keep the losing and then shoot for the big game stuff. And if you don't make a trade or trade any of your better veterans, then make sure that they sit out a fair amount. You've come too far to blow it now. And then, man, you look at maybe you can do something along those lines with Collins and Markkanen. I mean, we build up Markkanen, but Markkanen's kind of just another guy to me. He's a good player, but is he really that good? Singularly, I'm speaking.
Singularly, no.
Or if you package him with somebody else, and I know he loves the outdoors, I could give a flying you-know-what about that. And
they don't. The thing is he willing to stay here? And the answer to that apparently is yes. And there have been enough good players who weren't willing to stay here.
What? I only want him to be willing to stay here if he's going to help you contend for a title.
Well, then you got to get at least one and maybe two players who are, well, certainly one player who's better than him and then another player who is as good as him or better
maybe
than
you
him.
can take a Collins and a Markkanen and really make a move.
And that could happen. Now,
together, those are two good players.
The Markkanen, they can't move Markkanen until the
Hence,
summer.
That's why you wait until
the
I already
summer.
know that. Yeah. I wouldn't go any big game hunting now. And blow with 35 games.
35 games to go, what's the point?
Yeah. When you have a shot
at getting an awesome draft pick at number 1 or making a really good pick at 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah. To me, that's far more important. So if they make any moves in the immediacy, I hope it's to make the team worse. And then go. Ainge will go big game hunting. I think it boils down to what level of faith do you have in Danny Ray to get this thing where we all want it to be?
Garrett says, who cares? Most Jazz fans don't care anymore.
That's not true.
They are irrelevant.
What's Garrett's last name?
Hammond.
He's full of crap.
Jason says, and he turned half of lifetime Jazz fans into Jazz haters.
I happen to know Garrett Hammond, by the way. That's what I said.
You do?
Yeah. Yes.
Small Lake City strikes again.
Well, he's from here. He's a fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean he's the type of person that you are appealing to. Somebody who's from here, somebody has a vested interest in what goes on in the local sports market. Yeah, he's classic example of who you're trying to win over. But
he's mad right now.
Yeah, and that's good.
Because apathy is bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Those types of people, once you start to get better, they'll be back in a jiffy. And then this place in the arena will be rocking again. There will be a time the arena will be rocking again. You've got competent people running this organization.
Thanks for the hockey talk.
Yes, you do. I really believe that. And the truth of the matter is, you have to take, now this is where it gets debatable, but you have to take steps back to go forward. And is it one step? Is it 5 steps? You hope it's not 100 steps, but you have to do it. Unless you can be the Lakers and somehow just reload with another all-NBA player. Doncic, I think he turns 26 this month, but he's 25 right now. He's made first-team All-NBA 5 freaking times, and he's 25 years old.
Cool.
Yes. So, good for them. They're a worldwide brand, literally. We're not here. So this is, as painful as it is, and it sucks, this is the way to go. It's just, how long does it go? That's the question. When do they start pulling rabbits out of their hat?
I think the summer will be really interesting because by then we'll know what happens with the draft and who they get and where they draft. And then do they trade the guys who are mid to late 20s, which then says, well, this rebuild is going to the end of the decade? Or they hit on the draft and they bring someone in who's 25, 26, 27, 28, whatever. And whoever they draft, if they get number 1, they get Cooper Flagg. And whoever they bring in and Markkanen, there's your quote-unquote big 3. And how far can they ride those guys? And it's on. Now, I guess there's in between. But to me, those are the extreme cases, and we find out this summer.
Until they go 40 minutes in a game, the 48 minutes is going to matter, and the roster is going to matter. And so you're developing these other guys here, too, that they've already got on the roster. Collier's your point guard for the next 10 years. Lock it up.
I can't believe you say that.
I know you can't, but you're wrong.
You're the king of everything in pro sports changes in 3 years. Who knows? And now you're making 10-year pronouncements. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He's shown me enough. Yeah. I really believe that. And he'll get better. He should be just like a junior in high school or something.
Okay, that's extreme, but I get your point. Not a junior in high school. But he is very young.
Right. And he's piling up the assists. When have we seen anybody like him since Darren Williams? And when have we seen anybody like Darren Williams since the statue? It's the truth. Now, that could say, well, that just means the other guys, the Moat Palacios of the world, weren't any good. You can go down that road if you want.
You could.
And who is it? Carlos Arroyo.
Carlos Arroyo. Give me how about a Raul Lopez shout
Lopez. Out. We never know. He got hurt.
Yeah,
and Exum didn't materialize. He wasn't good enough, and he got hurt too. So I understand all that. But what he's doing as a rookie is more than the statue did. Now, the situation was drastically different.
I was going to say, that was a playoff team, and this is a team working to get the number 1 pick in the draft.
I venture to say that in a short order, he'll be as good as Stockton.
Stop.
David Stockton.
Way to set yourself up. It's illegal in volleyball. You can't pass it to yourself.
Well, you didn't help me.
I didn't see that one coming. My bad. DJ and PK. Coming up, Steve Cleveland, former BYU basketball coach, will join us at 8 o'clock. Big win for the Cougars on the road. We'll talk with him. Scotty G on the horse race in the Mountain West after the Aggies lose their first conference game of the year. He'll join us at 9. And Brian Geltzeiler on the Lakers Mavs trade. That's at 9:30. How the West stacks up next. We will get to that. Stay with us. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.
This party started.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
There are a couple of reasons that I didn't become a doctor.
Same reasons you didn't become a paleontologist?
Why do you crack a smile and then make a joke?
I'm just saying, there's a couple of reasons I wasn't a lawyer. Number one, LSAT scared me. Number two, I thought I'd fail miserably. And number three, I didn't think I was smart enough. So there are just a couple of reasons why I didn't become a lawyer.
Can I make a point without you attacking me?
I'm not attacking you. You've never talked about wanting to be a doctor before. To me, this seems like you were just right on the cusp of going to medical school, and then just these one or two little things came up and made you think, no, I'm not going to do that.
Doctor?
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 Can you not attack me? You know, it bugs me when you do that.
Doctor? Doctor? Doctor?
Stop playing that.
And doctor. Well, we miss anyone?
Catch Hans and Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The artist of the day, Kendrick Lamar, after a sweep of awards, had a big night at the Grammys. And it's brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concerts and events in 2025, check out livenation.com.
He's going to do the Super Bowl, and I saw some odds of songs he's going to sing, and so they had 3 or 4 that were 100%. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of bleeps.
Going to do a lot of editing.
I just don't. Whatever.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. The Lakers and the Mavericks. A massive trade. Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Does it make them much better in your mind? Are they top 4 in the West?
Yeah, I think it improves their team for sure. But to me, it's not about this year. This is about now you have another star to build around, right, like you've always had since the day you moved to Los Angeles.
You found someone in the league who would trade you a younger guy for an older guy, which you're not supposed to do in the NBA. But hey, they just bought themselves another 7 years of a star in their prime.
If not more. He could be 350 pounds and I'd still make the deal.
That was the Mavericks' rationale. He's not in shape. He's never in shape. It leads to these soft tissue injuries. It's getting worse. And here comes the big part. And we don't want to give him over $300 million in a Supermax contract extension in a year and a half.
But only averages 38-8. Okay.
I don't want to give anybody that kind of money. I'd be so leery to do it. But, I mean, those are the rules, and good on him. He can buy a lot of Slovenian tacos with that amount of money or whatever the best food in Slovenia is.
Now he's been traded. He can only get $229 million from the Lakers.
Yeah, but there's other stuff there that he's not going to be short of money. And now he becomes on the world's biggest stage. And he speaks multiple languages. He probably speaks your language wherever basketball is hot. So he's a star. And maybe this is a little bit of a kick in the butt to just hire 25 people to monitor your every move and everything you put in your mouth. And, I mean, if you want it bad enough, he certainly has the wherewithal to allow that to happen. And he's still only 25 years old. He'll be 26 here shortly. So I don't know that it helps them in the short term. I don't think it hurts them in the short term. They've got a decent team. I don't know that I would put them as the favorite by any stretch. But the good thing is the favorite is Oklahoma City, which is unproven. And so until they prove it, they're unproven.
Maybe they'll trip up as they try to figure it out.
Right.
And the Lakers are sitting at 5th in the West before Luka debuts. So
I mean, Luka beat him last year.
Yeah.
So you make this move 100 out of 100 times. And that's not the Anthony Davis is not yesterday's garbage by any stretch. When he's healthy, he's a really good player. He has been. And the funny thing is, you make this trade, it's symbolic of today's NBA. Both players are currently injured.
Perfect.
And they're not playing. And Big Luka's only played in 22 games this year, so he's been out. And they sent him away early in the season to get in shape. And he's got to do that. What he needs to do is what Jokic did. Jokic was chubby, and then they went away for COVID, and they were gone for 3 months or so, and he comes back, and he looks like a new man, literally, physically. And then what has he done since? Oh, just dominate.
Completely dominate the league.
Right. So here's your test case, son. Go do what he did and start it now and get serious about it. You're a phenomenal player, and Jokic was a good player. I mean, he took his game up to levels that nobody saw. Doncic has already seen that. We've already seen that out of him. And now this is the third team that passed on him. The Suns and the Kings did, and now the Mavs do. And Lakers, yeah. Who wouldn't make that move?
I think everybody would have made that move.
And maybe it motivates LeBron to play another year or two. I mean, he's slowed down a little bit, but the slowing down is all relative.
Still, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just somebody on the freeway who's doing 90, who's now doing 80.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe that rejuvenates him a little bit. I don't think LeBron James has anything more to prove in the NBA. If he retired today, his status is intact as one of the all-time greats. And depending your age, it seems to be generational on deciding who you choose as the best player.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We're taking a break. When we come back, Steve Cleveland is going to join us. BYU goes to Orlando, gets the win. Can they take down Arizona? We'll talk with Steve next. Stay with us.